Making a video overviewing the modifications I've done to my 2002 Infiniti QX4, as well as some of the significant repairs I've done and some modifications I've planned for the future. Some of the modifications on the outside you can already see are pretty obvious, but we'll go over those in detail after we cover some of the interior mods. Now, the most useful and best interior mod that you can really do for any vehicle that's going to see hard use, dirty shoes off-roading are some all-weather floor mats. My Infiniti came with a Husky brand trunk liner, but no rubber floor mats in the passenger compartment. So I've got a full set front and back of WeatherTech floor mats. They fit reasonably well. They aren't exactly the right contoured right. They sort of go over the edge there, and on the passenger side it's a bit worse. But after having them in there for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, they've just sort of bent to the shape of the floor, and now they're nicely contoured. So, it's just when they first installed they didn't sit quite right. But other interior modifications are the addition of a CB radio is the biggest one. This one is a Uniden Pro 510XL. I actually just have it plugged into the cigarette lighter right here for now. However, I do intend to route it through the firewall at some point. And then the mic is just mounted to the dash right here. I don't suggest this method though, because I found that the self-tapping screws for the mount actually tend to get kind of loose. Right now it's held in with the larger self-tapping screws, and 3M adhesive tape does a pretty decent job, but it's not as solid as I'd like, and due to a bunch of stuff behind the dash, it's just way too much effort to be worth digging through and trying to put a nut and washer on the back side. So I suggest you find someplace else to do it before you put holes in your dash. Other interior modifications, don't think I've really actually done anything else, so let's cover factory stuff that's been repaired or added. The biggest thing was this unit had a couple of buttons on the climate control broken off here, namely the off button, the buttons for adjusting where the air comes out, and turning on the defroster, all of which are incredibly important, especially if you live in Michigan, where sometimes it's nice and you just don't want the climate control on, or other times it's winter and you need your defroster on. So it was kind of a pain to do that without those buttons. So I got this unit from a junkyard, just had to swap over the disc reader for the sat-nav unit so that the whole thing would work, and it works perfectly. The only issue is the screen isn't quite as nice resolution as the old one was, but hey, it works. I don't use the sat-nav on this anyways, 15 years out of date, right? The other thing I've done is in the trunk. This is where I keep all of my stuff. Just kind of slid around a little bit. Still have to find a better solution for that, but it was this trunk liner. Some people don't like them and say they rattle. I don't notice it. Might be because I have an ammo can in there. That rattles a heck of a lot more. That just has ratchet straps in it, no bullets. This is great. I love it. It's the right color, and it really helps hide things that are valuable in here. Sometimes I'll go place with my RC cars, or I've got boxes of tools, all kinds of stuff, really expensive, valuable stuff that you don't want people seeing and thinking, hey, I'd like that. So, that does a great job for that. One thing that annoyed me when I got it, though, was this giant gap it leaves. You can totally see my toolboxes there. The thing is, that gap is actually kind of important. I can't really demonstrate it now because I have so much stuff in my trunk. It's kind of a two-handed deal. I'm holding a camera with one hand, of course, but these back seats, in case you didn't know, actually do recline. I don't know if mine have ever been reclined before I got it because the mechanism was really stiff, but the same handle that you use to fold the seats forward, you just push the seat back and it'll recline, and it ratchets into like a million different positions. It just, legroom in the rear end just opens up so much more if you do that. It's really great. So that pretty much covers the interior. One little fun fact about my interior I'd like to mention. This was a perfect vehicle, no door dings, scratches, nothing. It was one owner, really honestly perfect. And now, stained carpet. That's what happens when you go in mud deeper than you should. Learned my lesson, not a fan of water anymore. So, now that the interior has been done, nothing terribly special in there. This is a generally nice interior. Let's go over the exterior, alright? I don't know about you, but I think it's a pretty good looking truck. Start with the big thing that everybody wants to know about is suspension. What have I got for a lift? Well, in here I've got Old Man Emu coils and KYB struts, along with all the KYB strut accessories, boots, mounts, etc. For the front end, as well as I don't know if you can see it up there, yep, a 1-inch spacer lift. That's from sfcreation.com. It's a plastic spacer. It's held up very well. I've measured it, and it's exactly an inch thick still. And then in the rear end, as far as suspension goes, I'm still running the stock shocks. I intend to get longer ones. There's a certain Bilstein part number I'd like to get. It's not too expensive, about $150 for the pair, but just haven't gotten around to it. More pressing things to do on the truck. It's Goldman Emu medium duty coils. I don't remember if I mentioned on the front end, but those are heavy duty coils we got on the front end because I have the winch and the bumper. And I also have 2 sets of 1-inch spacers, one on the bottom and one on the top. Those are also from sfcreation.com. The reason I went with 2 was just so I could get a little bit of rake, so that when I load this thing up heavy for camping, I've got lots of, it's nice and level, which is perfect. And the reason I have them separated is, well, more just probably a wives' tale type of thing, but I've heard that when you stack plastic spacers directly on top of each other, it can cause them to crack. So I just separated them, one on top, one on bottom. They mount perfectly top and bottom, so might as well do one each just to be sure. And then tires, I have BF Goodrich 32 by 11.5 by 15 KO2s. I said by 15. I also said this is a 2002. A lot of people tell you 15-inch wheels don't fit on a post-facelift Pathfinder or QX4. It's not true. It just depends on the wheel you get. These are ProComp wheels. Got 3 3/4-inch backspacing. I will leave all of the information and specs on these wheels in the description below. So if you're interested in putting some 15-inch steelies that look awesome like that on your QX4 or Pathfinder, you know exactly which ones will fit. As long as we're up here, I've got Warren manual locking hubs on here. Ooh, those are hot. These, I haven't really noticed a savings in gas mileage. I put them on at the same time as the tires, so, you know, gas mileage just went down about 1 mpg overall, but I'm pretty certain at the very least saving a little something. But the big thing that I got them for was to save those CV axles, because those suckers, those boots like to tear, and, you know, if something happens on the trail with your CV axle, all you got to do is pop, unlock that hub, good to go. Don't have to worry about it until you have the availability to do so. I've got Moog greasable sway bar links on both sides up front, just because as long as I was replacing them, I figured I'd spend a couple extra bucks and get some real nice ones. As long as we're right here again, you know, clean, one owner, no door dings. Check out those scratches. Not sure how well they're showing up, but, you know, this was a nice truck. It was really nice. It still is pretty darn nice, but, you know, I use it. It's what it's for, and it's been a lot of fun. Up on the front end, this little bug guard. It's actually not an OEM one. I got it from a junkyard QX4 in '98, and I figured, came off a '98 one in the junkyard, it's probably OEM. Turns out it isn't. It's also for pre-facelift, so it doesn't fit perfectly. And as such, I have put a little bit of a foam. It's actually meant to be used for, what is it, a gasket around a window. Gasket around window trim. And I went ahead and Sharpied it black on the top edge. You can't see, and it just protects it from digging into the paint. Bumper, that's the big thing that everybody comments on. Everybody says they love my bumper. This was custom built here in Michigan by a 4x4 fabricator. It's a really nice piece. Very happy with it. Very heavy duty. Got shackle mounts underneath. Winch mounted right there. Bolts up. It's got bars that slide inside of the unibody there. And these plates go on the outside to reinforce the area on both sides. It's got little brackets to mount turn signals. Those are turn signals off a WD-21 Pathfinder that I snagged from the junkyard. Do the job just fine and look pretty good, because on the R50 Pathfinders, the turn signal is separate from the headlight. So when you remove the factory bumper, you're out of luck there. I also lost the ditch lights too, or fog lights. Not too worried about that. I'm just going to use the wiring at a later date to add some accessory LED lights. The winch is a rough country 9,500 pound model with steel cable. I haven't used it yet. The reason I picked this one was quite simply I won it in a raffle, so hey, why not? You know, it works. If I ever need it, I do trust that it'll work. You know, it's worked when I tested it, so figured it'll work if I need it, and you know, if not, well, figure out what to do then. Let's see, what else? Front end, I've got these Weston side steps here. My stock side steps just totally rusted away, complete garbage. And I didn't want to go with rock sliders yet when I got these. The vehicle was just a 2-inch spacer left. I thought, I'll never really off-road it that hard. I don't need rock sliders. So I got the step rails. Turns out I'd much rather have rock sliders, because I don't know how well you can see with it all dirty, but these are smashed. They have definitely earned their keep. It's definitely time for rock sliders. These steps have definitely served as rock sliders before. You might even be able to see this one, the general bow in it. Took it to Rocks and Valleys Off-Road Park one time, and those things just got destroyed. They were bent up, almost touching the body. Just jump up and down on them, straighten them out, and yeah, they'll serve for another day. But I just have those there because I really don't want to smash up my rocker panels. Those are way too nice to risk smashing up. You know, I just rather deal with some funny looks and a little less clearance on the side until I can afford to get it protected right. Other upgrades. We've got the Kurt roof rack with extension up top. You notice it's mounted up pretty high. I like this setup. I had it mounted lower. You can see there's, let me step up here, handy steps. I've got holes here. I had it bolted directly to the roof rail. And when I went to Rocks and Valleys Off-Road Park, it sheared off a bunch of the bolts just from the unibody flexing so much. So I've got to find a better solution at some point, but for now it is what it is. So also, need a better solution for that spare tire. It works, it doesn't move. These are, yep, still tight. I'd like to have a rear bumper with a swing out tire carrier at some point, but again, it's later on down the road, more pressing things for the time being. Other things to add are going to be skid plates, of course, as well as a missing link. If you don't know what a missing link is, I can show you real quick here. It connects the rear of the control arms together to add a lot of stability and strength to the front end of the vehicle, as well as add a point to add extra reinforcement to a mid and rear skid plate. In addition to all those mods, I've also got an exhaust on here. Stock one was totally coming apart. Can't really see it from this side. It's nothing special though. I mean, it's an exhaust. It's got a Flow Pro muffler. It's just an off-brand aftermarket muffler. Makes a decent noise. It's pretty good. Might put a sound clip at the end of this video. More than likely though, I'll just end up making a separate video of the exhaust. But yeah, can't really think of anything else to say here. It's my Infiniti QX4. It's been awesome. Love having it. Oh, a CB. That's a CB antenna. That's a 3-foot fire stick. It gives me plenty of range and connection for my off-roading needs. You know, nothing fancy, but does the trick. I guess the next thing I have to worry about in this truck is going to be rust repair. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show it, but oh, you can actually see it's in here. It's getting kind of bubbly here in the door jamb, and all through here, it's just a big hole. And then inside of this wheel well also, I had to replace the fuel filler nut because it rotted right through, right up there near the beginning. However, it's 2002, so I called Infiniti and they told me it doesn't qualify for the recall service, so that sucks. But anyways, it's fixed now. Wasn't too expensive. Used a bunch of Advance Auto coupons and got it for practically free. But the rest of the wheel well is getting kind of rusty on this side. You can see the top of the spring mount is getting kind of flaky, as well as up here inside of the wheel well. If you're on the inside of the truck, if you press on it in the right spots, it feels kind of spongy. But the other side is nowhere near like that. The other side is actually really clean, which is surprising considering the state of that side. I mean, look at this. Barely a little surface rust starting. It's really great. It's just that one corner is pretty bad, as well as got a little bit of strut tower rust. Nothing to worry about. Just going to get it patched at some point here. I don't know if I can show you. There's a small hole right there. There's the strut. There's a hole. This is the driver's side. Passenger side also has a hole. It's also very small. Going to get those patched. Other than that, that's about everything. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you'd like to see next.